Made in 1999 by Alex Manilow for Beta 7.0, CS Office has been in every Counter-Strike game ever since. It has outlived maps such as Aztec, Siege, and the original Dust, making it one of the oldest maps in the whole series. Nowadays, the map is infamous for cheaters and wonky hostage rescue game modes, with most players ignoring or actively avoiding it, despite Valve's desperate attempts to keep it mainstream by keeping it in the competitive map pool. This is a short history of CS Office and Counter-Strike, but I want to explore a bit deeper. What is the history inside of Office? In this video, I want to do a dive into the lore inside of CS Office, find out where and when the map is, as well as who is fighting and why. Let's start off with where and when. Office is an annoying map due to its age, as it's had many visual changes made between updates and ports in Counter-Strike. For example, in Counter-Strike Condition 0, clocks on the map display a time of either 6:04 or 18:04, whereas in Source and Global Offensive, the time is shown to be as 8:24. To simplify this, I will be focusing on Office in CSGO, as this version has the most detail and clues out of all the additions. Finding the country is fairly easy. Vending machines littering the map are priced in US dollars, and the terrorists have an accent typical of West Coast USA. On top of this, there is an American flag flying just outside the main entrance to the building. A more specific location, however, is tricky. We can see by the snow outside that it is the winter months, meaning December, January and February. Of course, it could be May or April with a freak snowstorm, but this is unlikely, so for simplicity's sake, I'll just ignore it. Toggling a no clip on the map, there are some things we can find. For example, looking at the vehicles inside of the map, we can find a cargo van with a Californian registration plates, just behind a grill near CT spawn. Though this may be hinting that the map is set in California, the amount of snow and architecture leads me to think otherwise. We can also find two yellow cabs, typical of the type found in New York, lying just outside the map boundaries. Looking at the number plates show that they are from Louisiana. However, after checking the annual snowfall per year in Louisiana, I seriously doubt that 5mm of snow makes snowdrifts this big. These yellow cabs, however, do hint at the map being set in New York. The tall buildings in the skybox, as well as an architecture of the office, look more East Coast than West. This is further backed up by the average snowfall figures, which estimate that around 2 to 3 feet or about 60 to 100 centimeters of snow fall per year on New York City. There's also pizza boxes littering the map, advertising New York style pizza, another point for this map being possibly set there. With this evidence, I can guess that CS Office is set in the state of New York, possibly NYC itself. The date is harder to pinpoint, however. Going by the style of the office, it is clear that the map is set in the early 2000s. Looking at the monitors scattered around the building, they closely resemble a Dell Ultra-Sharp 17-inch monitor, initially hitting the market around 2004. The computers used strongly resemble Dell Dimension 4300s, which were released in 2001 to 2002. Unfortunately, there do not seem to be any other pointers to the date when Office was set, therefore the best guess would be winter 2004 to 2005. The terrorists in this map are unique as well, as Office is the only map to ever feature the Anarchist faction as the T-side opponents. They feature unique voice lines too, compared to the other factions such as the Elite Crew and the Phoenix. They also sound much younger than the other factions. Take a listen.
Yes. No one's stopping us. Oh, this is all going to plan.
Taking a look at the player models, there is an obvious Anarchist patch on the left arm. There are also other patches on the character such as a red star, possibly a connection to the Soviet military, and an assortment of counterculture emblems. Their outfits also appear to be much more worn and casual when compared to the other terrorist factions too, sporting slash jeans, combat boots, a tatty backpack and a faded jacket. Their entrance into Office is through the truck featured at the exit of CT spawn, as it has appeared to have crashed, blocking the road for further CT vehicles. Gabe Newell even speaks about the hostage situation through this radio at T-spawn.
We have just received word of an ongoing hostage situation taking place in an office in the downtown area. A group of armed men took control of the office at gunpoint earlier today. Most of the employees escaped relatively unharmed during the initial chaos of the takeover, but 4 people are unaccounted for and have been verified to be hostages.
As the office appears to be a mortgage company primarily revolving around making profit, it is understandable why the anarchists have attacked and taken hostages. Anarchism is a branch of communism and is against capitalism and corporate greed, explaining why a profit-orientated loan company would be a prime target for their attack. It is unclear, however, what their goals are after taking hostages, as at no point do the terrorists ever mention an end situation, and only cheer at killing all CTs at the end of the round. Unfortunately, the CTs appear to be standard FBI agents that appear in other maps too, with no extra or unique cooldowns for this map. They seem to have gained entrance to the site through the garage by use of a SWAT armoured truck. To summarise, this map is set in winter 2004 to 2005 in a mortgage company headquarters somewhere in either New York or the tri-state area. The belligerents are the anarchists, a group of unorganised young men who have taken hostages in order to bargain for some sort of deal, most likely politically motivated, and the FBI, who have been sent in to eliminate the anarchists and defuse the situation. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. If you did, please click that like button and consider subscribing. I hope to make a series out of making this type of map breakdown videos, so if you have any suggestion for which map should be next, please leave a comment down below. This is Ian, signing off.